There, I got it out of the way. I'm not doing it again. the joke that
we got asked at the last convention we were at, what is your least favorite joke? I think mine was timing. It is so fucking annoying. Every time I think of something that annoys me in the Nostalgia Critic, that instantly swings my mind. Just timing! I'm like, shut up.
Killed it off for a reason. But it's a ghost, so can't ever really die. Okay, so this is our real thoughts on Casper.
What the hell do you even make of it?
No,
Talk about another film. This is another film that tries way too hard. Like, I'm gonna write this whole story around this. There's gonna be like a little romance. And I'm like, you know, this is a cartoon meant for 4-year-olds. You probably could have coughed anything up.
No, honestly, I don't dislike this movie as much as I probably let on in the review. I mean, even the review, I don't think I hated or anything like that. But I think it was something where this is when CG. We just talked about Jurassic Park. We had the mask that was like, sort of doing these cartoony things, and then this was kind of the first time they did CG with like full characters. Like half of your cast was computer generated working with people, and they were transparent. You could see through. Can you make people feel things for them and stuff like that? And you can. It just doesn't always happen in this. And the funny thing is, there's a lot of respect in this movie because think of Casper the movie. How fucking good can this be? Probably not very great. How bad could it be? It could be like the worst shit you could see. And I don't think it's actually that bad. It's a decent effort.
See, if it were this falls in my theory, if it were the worst shit it could possibly be, at least maybe it would be hilariously awful. This movie for me is just meh.
See, I give it credit.
Oh, the whole way through, meh.
No, see, I give it credit that it at least tried to do, because it's kind of a risk with something like this. How do you take these computer-generated characters, Casper, probably the most dorky cartoon you could bring to life at that time, and actually make the, kind of likable, kind of relatable, kind of cute, have a relationship, but in sort of this dark, cool mansion and stuff like that. Like that aspect, I would have liked this film a lot more if it was just the relationship between Casper, the girl, and the cousins, or whatever they are. When you throw in the treasure chest and trying to find the inheritance in there, the lost gold, and the machine that can bring people back into... It's not needed. This would have been fine if it was just their connection. She goes to school, talks about how it's going. Maybe they use the ghostly powers to get revenge on the kid or something like that, and they find out something else, or maybe it's getting along with the cousins, That would have been fine, but I think back then that wouldn't have flown. They were like, well, we're kids' movies, and we think kids are idiots still, and we're not going to make really good kids' movies until Pixar comes along, so we had to throw in all these extra plot elements that aren't needed.
Wow, you thought way more about Casper than I ever would have.
No, you know what? Because when I saw this film, I was really ready to hate it. But I was still kind of intrigued because, like I said, I just hadn't seen these CG creations yet, and sort of this cool Tales from the Crypt-looking house. So I was a little intrigued to see it, but I was ready to hate it. I was shocked that I did not totally hate it, but I didn't actually think it was good either.
I was ready to hate it, and then instead got bored by it and fell asleep. Literally, I think I fell asleep in the cinema when I saw it for the first time.
I think here's my thought. If I'm a director and I'm given... your next movie is Casper. Like, the ghost? Yeah. And you gotta make him cool. How the hell do you do this? And I could so easily see this going...
Well, they didn't, for one thing.
No, but I could so easily see this going to, like... What was that dog that Homer Simpson voiced in that...
Poochie?
Poochie! Everything was going Poochie.
Okay, I will give you this. It was was it the mid-90s that film came out?
Yeah, or early 90s.
It was the mid-90s, and they could have gone extreme with Casper, and they didn't. So they didn't Poochify it.
But they did also do a lot of, like, the pop cultural references, the really pointless swearing, which I'm not really that hard against swearing,
the
but
pop
if you're
culture
gonna put it in, have a reason.
This is Aladdin, I think, kind of wrecked films for a while. As much as I loved Aladdin, like, that one did it right, and then so many, like, kids' films just wanted to be Aladdin knockouts. Like, we have to have pop cultural references. Robin Williams did it, was funny, and then this is another one where it's like, God, Jesus.
But I think it's the fact that they did keep Casper, I mean, like, they talk about how Casper died. I mean, it's like, I kind of give this movie credit for doing these things that at the time, I would not expect a Casper the Friendly Ghost movie to do.
But it didn't work, though.
That's the thing.
No, like, honestly, when the
about
I can't take it seriously.
You can take this seriously?
No, I'm like, now we're going to talk
okay.
about how the ghost died in the first place. Like, I just couldn't, because the rest of the movie doesn't support that scene.
Some scenes do. Like I said, I think the relationship with her and the environment in the house, I thought
there's too much shit going on. Like, you either would have had to have done this seriously or, like, cut out it just, you can't mesh all those things together. Like, either make it for kids and make it the stupid sequel with Wendy or whatever, or try to do it seriously, but, like, trying to combine both of them. We're going to have the Ghostbusters in this one, and was that...
Yeah, no, they had it for a second.
We're going to have a Ghostbuster in this one, and we're going to have the Goo Ghost, and we're going to have Bill Pullman as the father, and he turns into Ghost, and this and that, but now we're going to have a serious moment, and a tween romance with a ghost. I'm like, what the fuck are you
I actually thought that stuff, for the most part, worked okay.
Well, I'll tell you this, then you should go talk to Christina Ricci, because I remember her in interviews being like, yeah, that movie sucked. She's like, this movie, I remember reading this interview, and she's like, this movie makes no sense. I'm supposed to be in love with a ghost? How does this work? And it's like a cartoon for part of it, and then he's like,
the interview I really want to hear is Bill Pullman, because you know that guy is just like a curmudgeon, hates everything, and it's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in this movie. But Ricci sort of turned into that too, though. So, well, from what I hear, I don't know. She could be very nice. But no, I've seen Pullman on interviews and when he's live and stuff like that. He does not look like a happy person. So, I would actually love to hear
Lone Star.
So, but no, this is one of those where it's like, I don't think it's good, but I give it a lot of credit for what it tried to do at that time period where a movie like this really would never fly. To make a Casper the Friendly Ghost and make him, like the cartoon, nice and friendly, and make the cousins, just sort of these dumb, idiotic jerks and stuff like that.
He's so lame! He makes the Care Bears look like fucking shafts! I'm sorry, I think I've met one person in my life who likes Casper, and it's my aunt. Who hates all other cartoons, but she likes Casper. Like, don't you like any cartoons? Did you watch any cartoons growing up?
No, she likes it because the cartoon is dead.
I liked Casper, the Friendly Ghost, and we were like, dork.
Fucking really?
Casper is the one that I just hated Casper to begin with. So just the idea of making a Casper the Friendly Ghost movie, like when they announced it that they were doing it, I was like, ah.
No, I think it's one of those things where it's like I was starting to sort of get out of like those, like I think Ninja Turtles 3 came out at that time, and it's like, I think I'm kind of done with some of this kiddie stuff and everything. And so I saw Casper, I was like, maybe this will be like the first Ninja Turtles. Like, it's kind of crazy, but maybe it'll work. It didn't quite. But I sort of respect it for the same angle, that they're taking this ridiculous idea and they're going to try and do stuff that you wouldn't normally think would work.
I just realized something. Why did I see it?
I don't know. There's probably nothing else out that weekend.
Maybe you wanted to see it and I'm just like, well, whatever.
I think it was like morbid curiosity.
It could have been morbid curiosity. I am like literally
and critics liked it. Like, critics liked it at the time, too. They were actually saying, no, this is pretty good. Like, Siskel and Ebert liked it. I want to say, like, Time Magazine liked it and stuff. It's like, oh, okay, maybe.
I'm, like, just trying to think back. I was like, what sad state brought me into Casper?
You're a little older, so maybe, I don't know, maybe you're just...
I remember not liking it. I remember not liking it back then when we walked out of there.
I remember we really made fun of the ending with the wife coming back, because we were like, okay, this is pretty stupid.
I remember we were laughing.
How come she looks human?
I thought we were gonna get kicked out, because we were like laughing so hard.
Yeah. No, I do kind of remember.
We were little pricks.
Yeah, no, we were. Even back then, we were like
fucking jackasses.
No, like we were just getting into Mystery Science Theater, and so it's like we can do this too. And like we were little assholes.
Maybe I wanted to misty it at the time. I don't know, but I'm like, I just suddenly realized, I'm like, why the fuck?
I think it's the same reason we saw Batman and Robin. It was just morbid curiosity. We just had to know. But no, for what it was, I still don't think it works. But, like I said, I really give kudos to the filmmakers for trying to do what they were trying to do, and in some areas actually working. Like, it does look very nice. I like that they tried to make the creepy house.
I don't know, dude. At best, failed experiment. Like, it just didn't succeed in anything. It's great to see, well, it took that risk, but AI at least had better payoff than Casper did.
Oh, hey, you don't ever say AI had better payoff than anything. Remember the ending of that movie. He never had a birthday.
Oh no, I'm not just talking about it. I'm saying though the rest of the film.
No,
in the rest of Casper, you're like, yeah, man, really, I felt like I got something out of that.
I don't know. I would still, like I said, I would argue that some of those scenes where, like I said, I do remember where he's talking about dying and he's trying to remember it in the memory and stuff, and it's like for this big cartoony white marshmallow to say this and to act, I thought it was done. No, I thought it was legitimately done okay.
See, I couldn't take it seriously. I'm just like, it's Casper.
But no, it got too complicated. It got.
It's like you could say, well, it was
references.
risky to do a Casper cancer drama. But it's still, like, not gonna work.
Casper.
And that's when I died of leukemia. Like, it doesn't work.
I like the machine that just brings people back to life. Oh, so you just kind of cured death.
Yeah, what sense does... Oh, I got that movie.
No, whenever you get into the actual story, it's really dumb. But like I said, I thought it had some nice scenes in it. But, yeah, like I said, I think I have more respect for what it was trying to do. I don't think it worked, but I thought some parts did. Because this film has a follow. We found out after we reviewed it, like, it's got a following.
Oh, shit.
No,
it does?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to have everybody pissed
Oh,
at me.
you're going to be sad. Everyone's going to be like, so all the scenes I didn't like in the review, that was from Rob. Rob, I hate you.
Probably. Guilty as charged.
No, because when I said I was going to review it, everybody was like, hey, no, that's a good movie. You hush up. And I was like, you're defending Casper? Really? Like, as good? You're defending Casper. You're going to put,
Wait a second. You're defending Casper.
No. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying that I have respect for what it was trying to do, and I like certain elements of it. I don't think it works as a whole. No, but for me to get that out of Casper at all, I think is impressive.
I had no idea this film had a following.
You are so boned.
Oh man, I'm fucked.
You're so fucked.
Fuck! This was a trap! This was entrapment!
It's Mortal Kombat all over again. Don't worry, the next one will call you all pussies again. It'll bring it all back to me. But no, yeah, I think that's our thoughts on the movie. Send all angry hate letters to Rob. And
you know what? There's things that you don't like that people like.
No, there's not. I like what every person out there likes. I've done the math. I've actually asked every person statistically. I'm Jay Leno.
Just a reminder.
I statistically am funny.
Before you send your hate mail, just a reminder, he is also the one who dragged me to Spider-Man 3 and X3 and Batman Forever and claimed they were all better than the original movie.
I did not claim they were better than the original. I did not.
Yes,
That's a lie.
Yes,
and I was like 12 years old when I saw Batman Forever. Okay?
But what was your excuse for Spider-Man 3 and X3?
Because the other films are so
fucking
stupid.
X3 as an X-Men fan.
Because
you were the bigger X-Men fan than me, and I realized it was shitting all over it.
Because the other films are still stupid films. I'm like, okay, we're finally at least doing something in these films.
Now it's on record. My work here is done.
You're a monster.
I know.
Who doesn't like Casper?